Hi everyone, it's Mr. Barbier back with another video. Today's topic is solving word problems. Okay, let's look at our learning objectives. So first, we're going to identify the 5 steps for solving a word problem and put them to practice. Second, we're going to find key words and phrases in a word problem to give you clues as to what operations to use to solve the problem. Okay, so first let's take a look at our 5 steps for solving a word problem. A word problem is a short story that asks a question or it tells you to find something. To solve a word problem, follow these steps. So, step 1, understand the question being asked and be sure that you know what you are being asked to find. Step 2, choose the values in the problem that you need to use and ignore any information that is unnecessary. Step 3, plan out your procedure for solving the word problem by finding key words and phrases as well as context clues to help you decide which operations to use. Step 4, do the math carefully and confidently, knowing that each step makes sense. Step 5, think about your answer. Ask yourself, does my answer sound reasonable? If it does, your answer is correct. If it doesn't, go back and make corrections. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the basic, step-by-step process for solving a word problem. We are going to utilize these steps as we solve a few word problems in this video, okay? But let me say one thing really quick. A word problem is a short story, okay? That's what we just read earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping in this video to basically make word problems and solving word problems easy for you. I want to remove this cloud of despair when it comes to solving word problems. I know word problems is something that students typically hate to solve. I myself as a student hated solving word problems. So I would like to, give you a chance with this video to realize that word problems are not difficult, that they're just short stories, as it says here, taken from real life situations. That's all they are, okay? So we're gonna work on strategies for solving word problems and to basically demystify this idea that word problems are super hard, okay? So I'm hoping to do that with this video with you today. All right, let's look at keywords, okay? So keyword chart, using a keyword chart. Often the hardest part of solving a word problem is deciding which operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division to use. One way to decide is to look for words or phrases that give clues called keywords. The keyword chart below lists some words and phrases for each of the 4 basic operations in math. Note, the 4 words in red are the specific vocabulary word for the answer in each operation. Example, the sum is the answer in addition. So notice this keyword chart I put together, right? The very first word in each column is the specific word that means the answer in this operation. So for example, there's a common misconception that the word total always means add. That is not true. Because as you can see, total is also in the column for multiplication. So what that means is when you read a word problem, don't assume that the minute you see the word total, you must add. That is not always the case. Sometimes that might be the case, but other times the word total doesn't mean necessarily to add. It might mean to multiply. So you're probably thinking, well, Mr. Barbier, if I'm doing a word problem and I see the word total, how do I know which one to do? You have to look at more than just the keyword total, right? Which we're going to talk about more today. You have to realize that solving a word problem isn't just looking for keywords. It's understanding the problem as a whole and reading the problem for understanding and looking for context clues to give you a clear understanding of what the question is asking you to find, okay? But let's take a look at this keyword chart really quickly. So notice these keywords for addition. Okay, so again, sum is the word for the answer in addition, and the rest of these are clues, keywords that may mean addition, but again, you have to read the word problem very carefully to make sure that you have to add in this word problem. Some, however, like I said, some will always mean addition. So if you are told, what is the sum of 2 and 3? It can only mean addition because sum is the answer in addition. It can't mean anything else, all right? But let's look at these other keywords. We have total, plus, combined, increase, in all, when combining different amounts, and all together, right? These are, again, keywords that may give you a clue that you need to add in that word problem, okay? As one of your steps, may not be the only step. Difference is the word for the answer in subtraction. So if you are told, what is the difference between 6 and 2? Okay, you know you're looking for the answer in a subtraction problem, right? You are subtracting those two numbers because difference can only mean subtraction and nothing else. However, these other keywords, again, can give you clues to subtract. So change, as in money, meaning like if you're paying for something and you get change back, that's what that's referring to. Less than, decrease, farther than, when comparing two amounts, how many more and how much more. For example, if Johnny has 5 pieces of candy and Sally has 2, how many more pieces does Johnny have than Sally have? Then obviously that's a subtraction problem, right? How much more, okay? If Sam wants to buy a comic book for, $5.50 and he only has $2, how much more money does he need, right? That would be an example, again, of subtraction. Multiplication. The word product is the answer in multiplication, okay? So if you're told, find the product of 2 and 5, you know that the answer is 10. You're just multiplying those two numbers. These other words, however, right? These other words and phrases are keywords that may mean to multiply, okay? Total, times, twice, when finding several of a given amount, when given the part and finding the whole. Division, the answer in division is called the quotient, okay? That's just a fact, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, all right? If you're told to find the quotient, you know you're looking for the answer in division. However, these other words and phrases can give you a clue to divide. So if you're looking for the average, okay, one of the steps in finding the average is to divide. Divided by, right? Cutting something in half. Yes, that is division. You're dividing by 2. Sharing equal parts, okay? Cutting up a whole into equal groups. Sharing equal amounts, splitting evenly. So to split, share, to cut, these are all clues for division, okay, as long as it's being done in equal parts. That's very, very, very important, okay? Okay, so these are our keywords. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just clues, right? And phrases and words to give you clues as to what to do in the word problem. But essentially, folks, nothing takes the place of reading for understanding, okay? Reading for understanding and making sure you understand what you're reading and what the question's asking you to find, all right? So let's look at some classwork problems now, all right? Okay, so usually sometimes I should say, I don't necessarily work out classwork problems with you in the video. Today I'm feeling generous, and we're going to do that. We're going to do at least 2 classwork problems today in this video, all right? So this classwork sheet has 1, 2, 3 problems, okay? We're going to use the 5 steps we talked about. We're going to look for some keywords and phrases to give us clues if they exist. Some word problems don't really have any keywords or phrases. You just have to read the problem and understand the problem. So let's take a look at this together, all right? Directions. Carefully read each word problem. Identify keywords and phrases to help you choose the correct operations to solve each problem. Note that these problems will require you to use more than one step to solve them. So I'm giving you a heads up that every single word problem in this assignment is multi-step, okay? It's not just one step and I'm done. No, I'm giving you that hint. Didn't have to do that, mind you. I didn't have to give you that hint, but I decided to just give you a little bit of a push, of a nudge. In your notebook, show all work, but do not rewrite the word problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do not need you to rewrite these problems. As a matter of fact, I don't want you to, because it's going to take up too much time. It's going to be a waste. Don't do that. Just, again, if you want to, like, for example, for your notes, I can understand that, right? Say you want a word problem or two in your notebook so that when you go back to your notebook, you can, look at the word problem and know where your steps came from. Okay, that's understandable, right? If you want to do that for the classwork, maybe, right, as part of your notes, I'll understand it. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to require it, I should say, but I'll let it be your choice. Certainly for the homework, however, please don't waste your time by writing the word problems over again. Okay? All right. Let's get right into it. So, word problem number 1. Now, here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to break down for you step by step how you should do this. When you're reading a word problem, don't just read the whole thing, like quickly, fast, and then when you're done, you're sitting there like, I don't even know what I just read. That happens to all of us, doesn't it, right? You read something, the minute you're done reading it, you have no clue what you just read. So we're not going to read that way. We're going to read in parts, and we're going to read in a way so that when you read just one sentence, I want you to break it down in your mind, understand what you just read, okay? And really digest just one sentence, one phrase, one group of words at a time, okay? Let's look at the first sentence. Michael started collecting baseball cards, okay? That's just a point of information, right? No real, nothing for us to really examine there, okay? Let's continue. To get his collection started, he received 34 cards from his father, 62 cards from his best friend, and 57 cards from his uncle. Okay, stop there. Don't keep reading. Absorb, digest just the information you just received by reading that sentence, okay? So let's look at that again. To get his collection started, he received 34 cards from his father. So in your brain, you're saying, okay, 34 cards from the father, 62 cards from his best friend. In your mind, you're like, okay, and 57 cards from his uncle. When you read this sentence, automatically, what are you noticing? Okay? What are you noticing? What's your brain telling you? Wait, 34 cards from the father, 62 cards from the best friend. You are getting a list of amounts here, right? A list of values, right? 34 cards, 62 cards, 57 cards. Usually when you're given a list of values, right? What I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to just make an assumption, a guess, an educated guess. Let me say it that way. Make an educated guess as to what you think is going to come next. So 34, 62, 57, you're like, we're probably going to what? Let me hear someone say what I'm thinking. Okay, yes, we're probably going to add here, right? Because if we're given, 34 cards from the father, 62 cards from the best friend, 57 cards from the uncle, you're thinking, we probably have to add. Again, probably, okay? Possibly, but not definitely until you read the final question, right? So you might say, so Mr. Barbier, why do you want me to do that? Why do you want me to make like an educated guess as to what the problem is going to ask me to do? To keep our brain active. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. When we read, I want you to keep your mind active by reading something, digesting what you're reading, and then saying to yourself, okay, what am I going to do with this information? What is the problem probably going to ask me to do? At this point, I think, again, keyword think, that we have to add. But let me keep reading to make sure that that's the case. All right? Because we don't know what we're doing until we read the final question. Okay? Until we read the final question, we have no idea exactly what the problem is asking me to do. So let me continue. Next sentence. Unfortunately, 49 of Michael's baseball cards were destroyed in a fire. Okay, again, don't keep reading. Digest that sentence. Maybe reread it again. Unfortunately, 49 of Michael's baseball cards were destroyed in a fire. Stop there. What is your brain telling you when you start to think about that sentence? Okay, I'm listening. Okay, wait, what's that? Okay, you're saying that, well, initially Michael was right? He received 34, 62, 57. In my brain, I'm thinking, okay, add these three things up. But now, because he had 49 of his cards destroyed in a fire, that means that these 49 cards, what? Okay, someone just said, Mr. Barbie, he doesn't have 49 cards of that group of cards anymore, right? Like he had 34 and 62 and 57, but then 49 were destroyed. And mathematically speaking, what are we going to do with this 49? Okay, someone just said, well, if they're destroyed, that means he no longer has them. So we're probably going to take them away from the total that he had originally. Right. Yes, that makes total sense, doesn't it? But now let's read the last sentence, the final question, to make sure we know what we are being asked to find. How many baseball cards did Michael have left? Okay, so now we have a full picture of what's going on, don't we? Right? He was given 34 cards from the father, 62 cards from the best friend, 57 cards from the uncle, right? So we want to take these three values and do what? Okay, someone said add, right? We are going to add them to find out the total amount of cards he had to start with, but then he lost 49 cards in a fire. So what do we do with this? Okay, someone just said subtract the 49 from the total that we had initially, and then that should tell me what he has left. Sounds like a good plan. Okay, sounds like an excellent plan. So ladies and gentlemen, you see what you're doing? Let's look back at these 5 steps again. Did we understand the question being asked? Yes, we did, right? Yes, we did. And are we sure that we know what we are being asked to find? Yes, we do know. We want to know how many cards does Michael have left, right? Choose the values in the problem that we need to use. Do we know what values we need to use? Yes, we do. And is there any information that we need to ignore in this problem? No, not in this problem, but in future word problems that we're going to solve, we may have to ignore extra information that's given in the problem, because that does happen sometimes, okay? So just be aware of that. Did we plan out our procedure? Yes, we did, right? We know we're going to add first the amount of cards that he received, and then we're going to subtract the amount that he lost in the fire, right? Now we're going to, what? Step 4, do the math carefully and confidently, knowing that each step makes sense. Let me talk about that step really quick. Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this video is very, very clear. We're not going to assume or guess, like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do that. No. Maybe that's what you used to do, but not anymore. Now we're going to read for understanding, know what we're doing, execute our plan, get our answer, and then step 5, we're going to think about the answer and ask ourselves, does my answer sound reasonable? Meaning, does it make sense, right? And if it does make sense, we are correct and we can feel confident in our answer. And if it doesn't make sense, if we look back and say, wait a minute, this answer looks a little bit funny, what are we going to do? Go back and make corrections. Look and see where we went wrong, all right? So, having said all that, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do is, no need, like I said, to print any of these, to print this sheet out. No need to do that, okay? You have your notebook, all right? Here it is, right? You're going to have your name, right? Your little heading, right? Solving word problems, number 1, CW, classwork. And all you need to do is number each problem, and show me your work for each step. That's all I need you to do, okay? So, looking back at the problem, right? We know that Michael received 34 cards from his father. So I'm going to write 34. All right. He received 62 cards from his best friend. and 57 cards from his uncle. So we already made a plan that we're going to, what again? Tell me. Okay, someone just said add. Yes, we're going to add these three values together. For what purpose? Again, know why you're doing everything you're doing. Don't just do it just to do it, okay? We're doing it for what purpose? To determine what? Someone tell me, I'm listening. To determine, very good, yes, how many cards, baseball cards, he had in his collection to start with, all right? So let's add. So we're looking at 4 plus 2 is what? Okay, someone just said 6, very good, plus 7 is very good, 13. So 3, carry the 1. All right, let's look at this column. Does anyone see any values that add up to 10, right? Remember, that's a strategy that we've used before. Okay, so someone said, Mr. Barbier, I see 6 plus 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Can I do that? Sure, you can do that. Yes. So 6 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10 plus 5 is 15. Very good. So what does this value, what does this amount represent? Okay, someone just said, Mr. Barbier, this represents the amount of baseball cards that Michael had in his collection to start with before what? Before the fire, right? This was his total amount of cards at first, okay? 153 baseball cards. But then what happened? Then the fire happened, right? And then he lost how many? Okay, 49 cards in the fire. So what do? We're going to take this total and what? Okay, good. We're going to subtract, right? 49 from the 153 to determine what? For what purpose? Know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay, good. To determine how many baseball cards he has left since the fire happened. Okay, so let's subtract. Can I take away 9 from 3? Okay, someone just said, no, Mr. B, you can't do that. So what do? We borrow from the 5, very good. And we make it a what? 4. Okay, so we're borrowing a 10 from the tens column, right? 1 10 from 5. We have 4 10s left. And we borrow and regroup, right? And this 3 becomes what? Okay, good. We're adding 10 to 3, and we're making it 13. Very good. And now let's subtract. So 13 minus 9 is, okay, someone just said 4. Okay, 4 take away 4 is, okay, someone just said 0. Very good. And then what? Drop the 1. So what does this number represent, ladies and gentlemen? What does this number mean? Okay, someone just said, Mr. Barbier, it means that this is how many cards Michael has left. So what I would like you to do for every single problem is not just show me your work. I would like you to give me a solution sentence, okay? So we have our first step here. We have our second step here. Give me a solution sentence. So how you do that? Very simple. Go back to the word problem and use the question in your answer. Here's the question. How many baseball cards did Michael have left? That is the final question, okay? We're going to use those same words in the final question in our solution sentence. Okay, let's do it. So the question is, how many baseball cards did Michael have left? We're going to say, Michael has 104, okay, baseball cards left. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason for solution sentences. It's not, extra work and all of that. That's what I keep hearing. Oh, Mr. B, that's just extra work. No, it's not extra work. The solution sentence gives you the opportunity to make sure that your answer makes sense, and it forces you to think about your answer, all right? Because you're writing a statement that you're saying is true based on the work that you did. If you look at the sentence, right, the solution sentence, and you say, wait a minute, well, yeah, it makes sense because He received this much, right? This many cards from the father, this many from the best friend, this many from the uncle. This was his total, but he lost some in a fire, 49 cards he lost in a fire. He's left with 104. This answer makes sense based off of the fact that he had this many cards originally, right? Lost this many cards and was left with this amount. So this sentence, now I can say confidently, this sentence helps me to realize that my answer makes sense. And also it pushes me to think about my answer, and I know my answer is reasonable, right? That's that last step. Step 5. Make sure your answer is reasonable. And that's what this sentence helps me to do, to check that my answer is reasonable. Very good. Guys, we're doing it. We're right there. All right. So now let's look back at the next class worksheet. And folks, I'm sorry, not the class worksheet. And let's look at the next problem. So here's the deal. All right. This is the time now where I would like you to pause the video. All right. Do so right now. You're going to read this word problem yourself, and you're going to follow all the same steps that we followed. And you are going to solve this word problem on your own. Now, folks, I want to be very clear. Not all word problems are the same, right? So you might say, so Mr. B, do I do the exact same process as the first word problem? You won't know that unless you read the word problem to find out, okay? But do what we did, okay? Read each sentence, one sentence at a time. Break it down in your mind. Make sense of what you're reading, okay? And then come up with a plan of action, right? Execute that plan of action, write your steps, whatever the steps may be. Come up with your final answer and give me a solution sentence and see if it makes sense, okay? If it's reasonable. Pause the video right now. Go for it. Okay, I'm going to assume that you've tried this problem on your own, right? I'm going to assume that you've done it, that you did pause the video, that you gave it your best shot, that you weren't quick to give up, right? Maybe you had some struggles with it. Maybe you're like, wait a minute, I'm having some trouble. That could have happened, possibly, okay? But you tried, you gave it your best effort, and now you want to see if your answer is correct. Or maybe you didn't get an answer because you got stuck. All right, but you gave it an effort, which is what I wanted. Let's continue. Okay, Janet is shopping for groceries. Stop there. Again, one sentence at a time. Don't read the whole thing and then be lost. One sentence at a time. Okay, got it. She's shopping for groceries. Okay, so as a matter of fact, here's an idea. Put yourself in Janet's shoes, guys. Don't make it Janet. Say, I'm shopping for groceries. Make this word problem personal. Make it about you. You have shopped for groceries before, right? So put yourself in this situation. It's not Janet, it's you shopping for groceries, okay? She grabs a rotisserie chicken priced at $8.49, a pack of frozen meatballs at a cost of $5.98, a bottle of canola oil for $12. Once again, wait a minute, we are given a list. Aha, $8.49 for the chicken, $5.98 for the meatballs, $12 for the canola oil. Again, say to yourself, all right, I'm being given a list. I'm probably going to add these numbers together to get what? For what purpose? To find out how much these three things cost in total. Probably, right? But that's what's in your mind. We don't know for 100% fact yet. Let's keep reading to make sure, okay? We're just keeping our brain active right now, right? We don't want to fall asleep at the wheel, so to speak. That's why we're making that kind of educated guess. Next, if she has a $20 bill and a coupon for $5 off her total purchase. Stop there for a second. Okay, so she wants to buy these three things: chicken for that much, meatballs for that much, canola oil for that much. She has a $20 bill and a coupon for $5, okay, off her total purchase. Does she have enough money to complete her purchase? Okay, if not, how much more money does she need? Ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to do here? What do you think? I'm listening. Okay, I heard someone say, well, Mr. Barbier, I'm pretty confident at this point that we are going to add the price of the chicken and the price of the meatballs and the price of the canola oil together because she's buying all three things. Okay? All right. Good. I like that. So we can do that for sure. And then, but what else are we going to do? Is that it? Okay, someone just said, Mr. Barbie, well, she has $20 to spend. So you're thinking maybe add what? These three things and then take that total and subtract it from the 20? All right, I hear you. But then, wait a minute, someone just said, wait, but Mr. B, what about the $5 off her total purchase? What about that? So let me ask you a question. She has she's a $20 bill to spend and she has the coupon. So aren't both of these values kind of like, even though this $5 is not an actual $5 bill, but it's still considered money she could, it's a coupon, right? It's value, is it not? Isn't this value that she could use towards her purchase? Yeah, right? Yes. So someone give me a plan of action. What are we going to do here, right? Tell me step 1, step 2. What are we doing? Okay, someone just said, Mr. B, I think we're going to add this, the price of the chicken, the price of the meatballs, the price of the canola oil, right? Because that's how much she's spending, correct? That's how much she needs to spend, right? To buy these three things, right? That's the reason why we're adding those three things. And then what? Okay, someone just said, well, Mr. B, I think we should take the $20 bill, the value of that money, and the value of the coupon, and add those two together. Because basically this is the money, right? This is money and this is a coupon. So these two things added together gives us the total amount that she's spending, that she has to spend actually towards her purchase, right? She has this $20 bill and this $5 coupon, right, to use to purchase what she needs to purchase, right? And then what? What do we do? Are we done with that? Are we done after those, that last step? Okay, someone just said, no, Mr. B, we should take the total amount of money she has to spend and subtract this amount, right? When we total this amount from this amount to see if she has enough money to complete her purchase. Okay. Let's do it. So let's do it one piece at a time, right? But right now we're just kind of planning out our procedure, right? So first, let's come up with the price. Let's come up with the total cost for the chicken, the meatballs, and the canola oil. All right. So let's go. Let's do it. You see? So, ladies and gentlemen, what you're doing right now is you're not just reacting to numbers in the word problem. You're actually thinking about what you're doing. This is what I want you to do from now on when you solve a word problem. Think about what you're doing and don't just do it just to do it, right? Math does require thinking. It does require for you to actually process what you're doing, all right? So we said that she wants to buy the chicken, the rotisserie chicken, for $8.49. Okay, got it. She also wants to buy the frozen meatballs for $5.98. So let's not forget what we've learned, right? We need to make sure our decimals are what? Okay, very good. Are lined up. Line up those decimals, okay? Line up those decimal points. So $5.98 for the meatballs. Okay, got it. And $12 for the canola oil. I have a question. Where do I line up the number 12 to show $12 for the canola oil? Do I put it here? 1, 2? Okay, someone said, no, Mr. Barbier, no. That $12 is a whole number. It goes to the what? To the left of the decimal point. It goes here. Yes, there's the $12. Okay, and then don't just leave this blank. What do we do? Okay, someone just said, Mr. Barbier, put the decimal point 00. Yes, that's how we do it. Very good. And now we're going to do what to these three numbers? We are going to add. Okay, please, when you are adding numbers, right? Whether it's 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, add them all together, Okay, please don't add just two amounts, get the answer, then add that answer to the third amount. That's going to take too much time. Remember, you want to do math in a time-efficient manner. So in addition, you can add more than one number, more than two numbers together at a time. You can. All right, so someone tell me, 9 plus 8 plus 0, tell me. Someone just said 17, thank you. Do we have anything that adds up to 10 in this column? Someone just said, yes, Mr. B, 9 plus 1 is 10. Good. Add that first, right? So 10 plus 4 is 14, plus 0 is still 14. Very good. Okay. Carry the 1. Remember, drop the decimal right away so that you don't forget. Okay. Do we have anything that adds to 10 in this column? Okay, someone just said, Mr. B, yes. 8 plus 2 is 10. Good. So 8 plus 2 is 10, right? 5 plus 1 is 6. So 10 plus 6 is 16. Very good. Very good. All right, so 6, carry the 1. Oh, and mind you, you know what? These dollar signs are probably a little confusing. I should have pushed them more to the left, all right? So I'm going to carry a 1. Let me just put it right here. But this is, like 0, 0, obviously, and then 1. So you could put zeros here as placeholders, right? 0 in front of the 8 as 0 in front of the 5, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so we have $26.47. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't just do math blindly. Ask yourself a question. What does this amount represent? Okay, this amount represents, so far we know that this amount represents the total of all of Janet's groceries, right? This is her grocery total. So if I'm going to write that down, just so that, we know what's happening. You could do the same, okay? Grocery total. I know we didn't do that for the first problem, but I'm doing this because I want you to really think about every step you do. Okay, don't do anything without knowing why you're doing it and knowing why it makes sense to do it. All right, so this is her grocery total. Yes. Now what are we going to do with that? Okay, so remember, we said, looking back at the problem, we said that she had a $20 bill, right? And a coupon for $5. So these are two values that she actually has with her to spend for her groceries. So even though we can do that mentally, guys, I realize that, but you know what? I'm going to demonstrate it anyway, just because, right? I would like you also to demonstrate it, even though it is mental math, so that I know, you know what you're doing. So she has $20 to spend. She has a $5 coupon. Altogether, it comes out to be what? Okay, someone just said 5 plus 0 is 5, and then dropped the 2. So $25 represents what? The amount that she has to spend. This is her spending money. Okay? And now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Mr. B, but the $5 is not really money. It's just a coupon. Does it matter? A coupon is money, guys. It's not a dollar bill, but it's still, it's just as good as money. All right? That's our spending money. And now, what are we going to do? What's the last step? Again, look back to make sure you know what you're doing. Okay? Always look back. So, we know how much she needs to, we know how much money she needs to pay for the groceries, right? We know how much money she has to spend, yes? So now the question is, let's look again, right? Does she have enough money to complete her purchase? That's what we're looking for. If not, how much more money does she need? Okay, so let's look. She has how much money to spend? $25. But the groceries cost how much? $26.47. So ladies and gentlemen, you could even see right now that what? Okay, someone just said, Mr. B, she doesn't have enough money. She needs this much. She only has this much. So the final question is asking, does she have enough money to complete her purchase? If not, how much more money does she need? How do we answer this last part? How do we figure out how much more money does she need now that we know she doesn't have enough money? Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what? You know what we can do? In case you're a little stuck, look back at the keyword chart. Look at this. How much more? Where do I see how much more in this keyword chart? Where do I see that? Oh, wait a minute. There it is. How much more? Subtraction, right? There it is. How much more? Key phrase for subtraction. All right, now I know. In case you didn't know, now we know to subtract. We're going to subtract what? The grocery total and the spending money, right? Remember, always put which amount on top? Okay, good. Someone just said, Mr. Barbie, you're going to put the larger value on top. So 26.47 minus $25. Let's make sure we know how to line up. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, 25 is a whole number. So all whole numbers are lined up to the left of the decimal point. Don't forget that, okay? Lined up to the left of the decimal point, all whole numbers. Don't put the 25 back here. Okay, it's $25, not 25 cents. 7 minus 0. Okay, good. Someone said 7. 4 minus 0. Someone just said 4. Very good. Drop the decimal point. 6 take away 5. Very good. Is 1. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. And we now know that. Give me a solution sentence, please, somebody. The question again is, how much more money does, first of all, answer the question, does she have enough money to complete her purchase? Okay, you would say no, correct? We know that she doesn't. And how much money does she need? How much more money does she need? $1.47, right? Okay, so let's write a solution sentence. And we could say, Janet does not have enough money, okay, to complete her purchase. Remember, use the question in your answer. Okay, she needs $1.47 more. And there it is. Okay, guys, and there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, not difficult, not difficult. But you are going to have to make some changes to how you used to do word problems in the past. You are going to have to think about what you're doing, all right? Think about every step that you're doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we did number 1. We did number 2. You are going to do number 3 by yourself, okay? On your own, all right? On your own. I know you can do it. I have faith in you. And it doesn't stop there. So remember, you're turning in your the work for number 1 and number 2, even though we did it already in this video, right? I want to see all of this turned in, okay? You're going to do number 3 on your own and include it in your classwork, all right? And then, of course, you have a homework sheet. All right, everybody? So you have 10 problems to do for homework. Okay, here it is. Solving multi-step word problems, addition and subtraction. This is for you to do, right? You have 10 problems right here. And you're going to do it the same exact way we did the classwork problems, all right? Same exact way. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can do this. Remember, you don't have to copy the word problems. As I said, do not copy the word problems. Just number each problem. Show me each step, your work for each step, and give me a solution sentence. Okay, that's what I want. All right. So, all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it, everything you need to give you that confidence that you can do this work, and I know you can. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So keep being great, because you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.